Okay, so here's the GitHub repo for this project. I just wanted to quickly go over some of the topics we'll be covering. We're going to be using the Unity game engine. We're going to be creating our own shaders to render the stars and the constellations. We will be using some scriptable objects. The programming will be in C#. We're going to do some importing of the databases, manipulating of that data, and then converting that into Unity meshes and then rendering that. We will be using things like link queries and arrow syntax. I'd recommend just having some handle on it. I will explain a bit. I could explain it. I will explain a bit about it as I do it. So that's kind of like, I guess, a broad overview of the topics we'll be covering. We're going to be eventually using AR Foundation, maybe VR. I haven't decided yet whether we'll just do each of those. We'll see how we go. AR Foundation works with ARKit and AR Core. Okay, yeah, and now in terms of asking questions, if you get stuck or like sharing things, or if you want to fork the project, that sort of thing, I've got some links down here. I'm starting to move away from using emails and YouTube comments as a form of communication. Like they work, but they're just not great. Like emails are kind of private. No one else, you get to answer one question for one person. Whereas if one person has a question, it's more than likely there's a few people who have that question. So I'm gonna encourage people to use the Unity forums. And then so if you create a thread, just leave a link to it in a YouTube comment and something like that. Hopefully myself or someone else will be able to help you out. You'll find that just about everything in this course is not specific to this course. It's like it's a subject in itself. Like geometry shaders, for example. There'll be lots of people who know more about geometry shaders than I do. And so I'd recommend Stack Overflow for any C# or programming related questions. Just any Unity questions, go to Unity Answers. And anything about this project, just create a thread on the Unity forums. If you leave a link to it, I'm sure I'll be able to see it and be able to help you out. And then everyone else will be able to see it as well. And hashtag Starchart3D. Like, make sure whatever you create, it would be great to see it. Great to see it online. See what all the things that people can come up with. I've already uploaded one tweet, so we'll see how that goes. Also, if you're at Pirates Just Are, I'll certainly see it. Okay, link to the repository. And okay, all right. So might as well start by making the Unity project. I'm just gonna create the project. In this lesson, we're just gonna create the project, and we're gonna import the database, the star database that we'll be using. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new Unity project. Okay. Now this is going to go inside the repository. Oh, there's one thing I didn't mention about the repository. I'm trying out this new system where I'm gonna add a new, I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to add a new commit for every lesson, so people will be able to backtrack if they're, say, up to lesson 1 and they want to see the state of the repository at that lesson. So I'll just give you a quick example of what that looks like. So here for example, we've got the initial commit, right? This is, there won't be much on it at all. And then, okay, so if you wanted to see what the repository was like just before anything started, you could just go ahead and download that. Now, if we go back, and let's say, for example, I've done a demo here. Here's a test commit 1. Okay, so now this README says test commit 1. And then let's say, for example, I do another commit in another lesson, but then I change something that was in that first lesson. It might be confusing if you didn't have the context of that, understand why I changed it. So, for example, here in lesson 2, I've changed something that I'd made in lesson 1, and then I've done something more in lesson 2. So, I'm hoping this makes sense. So, so what you want to do if you're up to lesson 1 is go through the previous commits to where it says like lesson 1 commit, or it might be 1.1 commit if I just changed a few things. It's like versions, I suppose. So that's just, and that's just in the, if you just go to this 5 commit section up the top there, that's how you get to that area. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this lesson is add the new project to the Starchart 3D repo. I'm just going to call this, I'll call the project Unity because it's going to live inside the repo that's called Starchart 3D. Oh, folder. Oh, okay. Select folder. Okay. Yes. Oh no, I pressed cancel. All right, Starchart 3D. Okay, select folder. Okay. There we go. Do it in lowercase. All right, just make sure we're using the 3D template. Yeah, and that's actually all we're going to do for the Unity project, is just create it. So what I'll do now is I'll show you what will be a bit of the context around the HYG database that we'll be using to import all the stars. So you can go ahead and just type into Google HYG database. This is a combination of 3. So like what a lot of astronomers will do, they'll create a massive database of all the stars and their positions. And this is a combination of, I believe it's three different databases. They've brought them all together, and they've also done some really nice calculations that didn't exist in those databases before. For example, what this database gives us is, now it's a bit difficult to read, but it gives us things like Cartesian coordinates. So that tells us where a star is in 3D space. So this is where it lives, a HYG database in AstroNexus GitHub. I'll leave a link to it. And the only thing we need here is HYG data _v3. The other ones are like older versions of it. So I'll download that. And you'll find something else in my repository. So you get a bit of information here, and you can go ahead and read through that. But I've also created like a cheat sheet for it. It's something like just a bit of a markdown file that just is a bit easy to read. It's got like a, let's see if I can find it. It's got like a table, and wait, I'll just show you. Here we go, HYG reference. Okay, so it's got a table of all the information we get for every star. There's about 119,000 stars, and for each of them we're going to get all kinds of information, and we'll start looking into it. Once we start importing it and playing around with it, we'll look into what exactly each of these do, and or which ones we're interested in, what we're going to make stuff out of. Yeah, so that HYG reference, that's on my GitHub, and the original database is on the AstroNexus GitHub. Okay, so that's downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and extract. Oh no, still going. It's a lot of stars. Yeah, I'll wait for that to download. Let's see if the Unity project's ready. I'll just change the layout. Okay. Yeah, so that's it for the Unity project for this lesson. And the database is still downloading. I'll get its place in the Unity project ready. Okay, so if I go ahead to the repo, I'm going to go into this Unity folder, into assets. I'm going to create a new folder called databases. We're going to be importing constellation databases as well as this star database eventually. 31 megabytes. It's bigger than I thought it was. Although I am downloading Dance Collider at the moment, so that might be why it's taking a little bit longer. Okay, there we go. Okay, going to extract all that. And remember, we're just gonna grab this HYG data v3, and I'm gonna put that, I'd recommend putting it inside the Unity project, because we will be accessing it from within the project. We'll be doing like imports of it and stuff. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So we've got, you can go ahead and open it up, have a look at what it's got in it. A lot of numbers. Oh, one more thing I want to do before we end. Just take because this has got, like we'll see exactly how many. This has got a lot. It's something like, it won't even let me scroll to the bottom. And no. Oh yeah, 119,615 stars. Obviously, like we're going to be playing around with it. We don't want to, I don't know, do something for each of them and really like bong it up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take the first 10, copy that, create a new